Hello, welcome back to Learn Astrology with Mary. My name's Mary English and I'm a professional astrologer based in the UK in a place called Bath. And this week I probably mentioned it last week, we're going to be talking about cusps. Now there is an enormous amount of misinformation out in the world about astrology, and one of the biggest ones is when people say, "Oh, I was born on the cusp." And I'm afraid there's no such thing as a cusp, and I'll explain. So we've talked before about astrology is a study of the planets, and all of that, and where they're located, etc. And when we make a birth chart up, we use the 12 signs of the zodiac are all the way around each chart, and the signs of the zodiac are representative in the sky of this imaginary path of the sun during the solstices, the first one being in Aries all the way around until we get back to Pisces. And the new year, astrological new year, starts 0 degrees Aries. Now these are points in the sky, and for anything to be accurate it has to involve mathematics, and don't we all hate mathematics? Well, that's me included. And I can't remember, I think it was my auntie actually told me there was no such thing as a cusp, and I've written an article about it, which I'll put the link to it in my blog page, which is located at, let me give you the address, hold on. So you can always get information. So if after you've listened to this podcast and you've got it from iTunes or wherever, then just zoom over to www. And the exact address has now escaped me. Here we go. www.astromary, or one word, ASTRO, Mary, or one word, .libsyn. So it's libsyn.com. And on there, I'll always, anything that I'm yakking on about in the podcast, there'll be links to it there. Okay, so we have said that we're going to use mathematics. Now, a birth chart is represented by a circle, and a circle is 360 degrees. And if you divide 12 signs of the zodiac into 360, the answer you're going to get is 30. So 30 times 12 is 360. And that's because each sign of the zodiac is 30 degrees big. Okay? So I'm going to use an example that I would like you to look at. I'm going to put the link there, and his name is Michael. He's a lovely volunteer, lives over in Wales, and he's perfectly happy for us to use his chart, a link of which I've put on my website, so you'll be able to click on the link on my podcast and go to my website. And in his chart starts in the sign of Leo, and we've got the 12 signs of the zodiac going around anti-clockwise, because the birth chart is read anti-clockwise and it's constructed anti-clockwise. So you've got the signs Leo, Virgo, Libra, all the way around anti-clockwise in the circle, and each one of those segments is 30 degrees big. Yeah. Now, I think it was yesterday afternoon at 4:30, to be precise, the sun went into the sign of Leo. So it went into Leo, and it went in at 0 degrees of Leo at that precise point. I think it was might have been 4:20 something or 4:30. It was around about 4:30. And it entered the sign of Leo with 0 degrees. Now don't forget, each sign of the zodiac, because it's maths we're doing now, forget about everything else, it's maths, each sign of the zodiac has to be 30 degrees big. So if you were born at a particular time and the sun just went into that sign of the zodiac, you would be that sign of the zodiac. So if you were born yesterday, for instance, say it was 5 p.m, you would be 0 degrees in X amount of minutes into the sign of Leo. But you would be a Leo. There's no such thing as a cusp, because a cusp implies that there's some derogatory line somewhere and that you are on the line. Well, that doesn't happen in mathematics, because as far as astrology goes, you're either 0 degrees of one sign of the zodiac, or you're 29 degrees and 59 minutes and 59 seconds until you get into the next sign. Well, in fact, you can go all the way up to 30 degrees of the sign, and so you won't be into the next sign until you go back to 0 degrees in X amount of minutes. Yeah. So even if you're born really late in each sign of the zodiac, 29 degrees, 59 minutes and 59 seconds, you are still part of that sign of the zodiac. Now, in Michael's chart, he was born just when the sun went into the sign of Capricorn, and he was born on the 23rd of December 1989 at 7:04 p.m. And the sun went into the sign of Capricorn just a little while before then, because when he was born, his sun sign is 1 degree Capricorn, and I need to zoom in, Mary. So he's 1 degree Capricorn and 56 minutes and 24 seconds. I want you to look at his chart so you know what it is I'm waffling about. Where the symbol for the sign, bottom left, and it says 1 degree Capricorn, 56 minutes and 24 seconds. So he was born just into the sign of Capricorn, but he was not born on a cusp. Okay, because a cusp doesn't exist. Because a cusp implies you're sort of half of one sign and half of another. You can't. You're either 0 degrees, X amount of minutes, or even 0 degrees into the sign, or you're into the next sign. And you have to imagine that imaginary line that we're saying the cusp is doesn't exist. You're either one side of the line or you're the other side of the line. You cannot be born bang smack on the line, because you're either going to be 0 degrees in X amount of seconds into the new sign, or you're going to be 29 degrees and 59 minutes and 58 and a quarter seconds into the previous sign. Yeah, so you're either one or the other. You cannot be both. Now, what confuses people is because the dates that the sun changes sign each year are not what it tells you on the internet, and they're not what it tells you in magazines, and they're not what you're going to Google, because they vary every year. Yeah. So, for instance, let me find the exact. Where are we now? So, I mentioned before about getting the ephemeris from astro.com. And you have to go over there and look in all about astrology, and on there you'll find I think it's 9,000 years worth of ephemeris that I've got. So I'm looking at 2017's ephemeris at the moment. Ephemeris is just a flash word for the plotting of each sign of the zodiac and each planet and what date they do things and change sign and all the rest of it. And even that isn't going to be as accurate as the time of your birth. So if we give you the date, so for instance, say this year you were born on Friday the 1st of September, the sun is 8 degrees into the sign of Virgo, 45 minutes and 29 seconds on the 1st, at 22 hours 41 minutes 23 seconds sidereal time. Don't ask about sidereal time, we'll do it another week. And so the dates that it gives you when one sign changes in that. So let's look. Okay, just for instance, because our lovely Michael was born on, I think he's the 23rd of December. So say he was born on the 23rd of December this year, what sign of the zodiac would his sun sign be? So on the 23rd of December, yeah, it's still definitely gone into the sign of Capricorn. But say he was born the day before, on the 22nd of December, yeah? And say he was born really, really early in the morning, like just a couple of seconds past 12 o'clock midnight, so he's just into the new day, 0 degrees and sort of 0 minutes and whatever into the new day. He might be the previous sign. That's why having your time of birth is probably more important than your date of birth, if you so happen to be in between when the two signs are changing, and they're not the same every year. Now, when I wrote my book, How to Believe in a Sagittarius, my dad was, because I used his charts in there, was born on the 22nd of December, right? And he was a Sagittarius. And I can't tell you the amount of people, in fact, it wasn't actually in the UK, it was when it was translated into Portuguese. I had 3 emails from people going, oh, you said that your dad was a Sagittarius. It's not, it's definitely Capricorn. I'm sorry, my dad was born early in the morning, the 22nd, and he most definitely was a Sagittarius. Trust me on that. Because the year that he was born, 1921, the sun changed sign slightly differently to the date that it changes this year, because everything alters. You know, we've got this, the Earth spinning on its axis, and we lose so many minutes a year and all of that. So trust me on this one. Get your chart done accurately. Use astro.com. Make sure you've got exact times, because the sun can change sign at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, like it did yesterday. It's not changing it as at midnight. The sun just so happened yesterday to change sign into the sign of Leo around about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 4:30, 4:20. I can't remember the exact time. I have got it written down. I haven't got the piece of paper with me. So when anybody talks to you about cusps, go, well, Auntie Mary told me there's no such thing as a cusp. You're either one sign or the other. And as I just said earlier, the thing that confuses people, they read their sign of the zodiac, they go, oh, I'm nothing like that. Well, they might not be, because, you now know that there might be, in Michael's case, he's a Capricorn, he's got a Leo ascendant, so he might come, well, he does actually come across as very friendly and warm and outgoing and all of that, because of his Leo ascendant, not because of his sun sign in Capricorn, but it just so happens in his chart. And we have done houses now. He's got his sun in the 5th house, and the 5th house is similar to, but not the same as, being the sign of Leo, because the 5th sign of the zodiac is Leo, and the 5th house is about creativity and warmth and friendliness and romance and all of that. So he's a heavily disguised Capricorn with the Leo ascendant, the sun in the 5th, and he's also got moon in Scorpio right next door to his Pluto. So on a good day he's fine, and on a bad day the emotions are going to overwhelm him, type of idea. So we're very complex beings, and even though you might be the same sign of the zodiac as someone else, you're going to have heaps of different things that are different in your chart. The biggest one being what time of day you were born. I mean, I take our dog for a walk, and this morning I met a lady who's got a lovely dog called not Molly, but it gives her the name and comes to me. And the breeder dog is a Vizsla, and she's a Pisces, and we're having a chat and stuff, and we'll get on reasonably well because we're both Pisces. But that's not a guaranteed thing, because I've got a Leo ascendant, and that might completely pee her off after time. So the fact I'm so chatty because I've got moon in Gemini as well, and I'm so sort of out there and extra confident and stuff. So even though our sun signs might be the same, the ascendants again are modified things. Yeah. So returning to the maths thing, when you're looking at what sign of the zodiac you are, do not use the dates, the derogatory dates that they give you, the standard dates, because they're not always correct. Get your chart done. If you're born on the 20-something, the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th of any month, get your chart checked, because you might think, oh, well, I'm definitely a Libra, and you might not be. You could be the next sign of the zodiac, yeah? Or you could be the previous sign, depending on which month we're talking about now. And that's why astro.com is such a valuable resource, because you can find exactly for once and for all what sign of the zodiac you are. So get your friends, check them out, and they'll go, oh, but I'm definitely an Aries. And then there was a lady I knew for ages, I'm definitely an Aries, definitely an Aries, definitely. Actually, she wasn't. She was a Pisces. Maybe she wanted to be an Aries, but she wasn't. She was a Pisces. And the other way round, I know a lady who was a Pisces, and she kept saying, I'm an Aries, and I'm an Aries, and I'm an Aries. Like, nope, she was a Pisces. So if you're born on the 20-something of any month, do go to astro.com and get your chart made up, taking into account the time of day that you're born, because if you're born late in the day, you might be into the next sign of the zodiac and so on. And don't forget also, the moon's going to change sign. Whole heaps of other planets are going to change sign. But the important one we're talking about today is there's no such thing as a cusp, because you're either one sign of the zodiac or you are the other sign of the zodiac. You cannot be. It just mathematically, statistically, geographically, astronomically, whatever you want to call it, impossible for you to be two signs of the zodiac. You're either one or the other. Okay, any questions, do email me, mary@maryenglish.co.uk. I hope you've understood this one. It's extra important for you to get your head around that each sign of the zodiac has 30 degrees devoted to it, so the sun will go through that sign for 30 degrees until it gets the next sign, and then it's back to zero again. Yeah, but if you haven't quite understood it, please email and I'll explain it a bit more. Anyway, have a fab week. I haven't decided what we're going to cover next week. because we have covered most things. So we're going to go into a bit more sort of deep and mystical and weird and wonderful stuff next week. I think we'll do weird and wonderful. I can't remember if we've done south nodes and north nodes. Have we done those? I'll have to check. I did have written down somewhere whether or not I have or I haven't. I don't think. Hold on, let's have a look. Have we done the nodes of the moon? Don't think we've done the moon's nodes. Might do that next, possibly. Moon's nodes. But yeah, cusps is this week. You're either one sign or another. You're not both. Check your friends out. Anybody born on the 20th, between the 20th and the 22nd, because that's normally when the signs change, between the 20th and the 23rd, actually. 23rd, 22nd. And don't forget, February's got less days. I've got a ex-sister-in-law who is definitely a Pisces, but the date that she was born was on the leap year, so she only has her birthday once every 4 years because her date just doesn't appear. So there we go. Have a great week. Speak to you soon. Bye bye now.